5 p.m. Central African time. Now, the continent of Africa stands at a critical juncture in its development, with Africa's population set to reach 2.5 billion by 2025. You'll remember this is a fact that was also mentioned by our previous guest, Sebastien de Place, when speaking about the exponential growth that the continent is projected to have. Now, this very fact places unprecedented pressure on existing infrastructure. Now, most concerning is that Africa faces an annual infrastructure investment gap of 78 to 102 billion US dollars, presenting significant opportunities for public-private partnerships. To discuss Africa's infrastructure challenges and how innovative solutions are needed to revolutionize Africa's approach to infrastructure, joining us this afternoon is Tshepo Ncube, Head of International Client Coverage at Absa CIB and also a member of the B20 Finance and Infrastructure Task Force. A very good afternoon to you, Tshepo. Welcome to Africa in Business.
Good afternoon, Thami, and good afternoon to your listeners. Thank you for the invitation. It's truly a privilege to be here on Channel Africa to explore not just infrastructure, but our collective path forward.
Certainly a pleasure for us to have you here. Now, infrastructure has become one of those buzzwords on the African continent, and perhaps a buzz phrase would be infrastructure development. But if we could perhaps start, Tshepo, with highlighting what some of the main challenges are as far as developing Africa's infrastructure.
So, Thami, rapid urbanization is outpacing our infrastructure capacity. Many regions lag in basic essentials like roads, healthcare access, energy, and connectivity. These gaps stifle economic growth and limit regional collaboration. And it drives up costs and it slows down progress. An example in some areas, delayed access, road access, stalls supply chains and education opportunities. The ripple effect of inaction is real and it's urgent.
And I wonder, Tshepo, how the growing population is impacting Africa's infrastructure needs. Just before you and I had this conversation, we were speaking to Sebastien de Place from Favius Mazars, and he was speaking about the potential, the positive potential that this growth spurt is going to have as far as, you know, various sectors are concerned, like agri-processing, etc., because they're going to be more consumers. Obviously, then other sectors need to create where for those consumers to be able to consume. But what impact on the adverse side does this have on infrastructure and the needs that the continent has?
So our demographic boom is both a blessing and a stress test. Cities are swelling, schools overflow. I mean, how many times have you heard that, you know, some of the grade ones every year when we open up schools don't have places at school to start? So there's pressure that's mounting on energy systems. If we don't act swiftly, we risk social unrest, economic stagnation, and unmet human potential. Governments have responded by making infrastructure investments a strategic priority. Yet alone scale is not enough. The strategy must evolve. Africa's infrastructure challenge is not purely national. It's a fundamental, regional, historical, fragmented investment patterns and policy misalignment, as well as limited cross-border coordination, having stalled meaningful progress. So to unlock the full value of the African continental free trade area, there has to be a shift towards a more integrated infrastructure approach. So today in intra-African trade accounts, if you look, we're doing about 18% of the total trade. We should be doing more than that. In contrast, intra-regional trade exceeds 50% if you look at Asia as well as Europe. So the missing link is infrastructure that supports physical as well as financial connectivity.
And I wonder what role public-private partnerships play in infrastructure development, and what can financial institutions do to support that infrastructure growth?
So there's a lot that private partnerships, public-private partnerships with modern construction finance models, as well as finance coming in. We could look at bridge loans to manage development, phase cash flows, partnerships with development finance institutions to de-risk and scale implementation. With trade volumes expected to grow at about 3.5% annually until 2040, infrastructure will determine whether this growth translates into a sustainable economic outcome. If I use road transport alone, it moves about 80% of goods across the continent, yet faces some of the world's highest transport costs due to inefficiency and maintenance backlogs. So governments must also align with regulatory frameworks. So it's just not just about the private sector as well, but there should be a regulatory frameworks across borders to attract long-term institutional capital, while each country retains sovereign control. A harmonized approach to investment policy as well as incentives, which will accelerate project readiness as well as enhance Africa's competitiveness in global capital markets.
Tshepo, we're going to have to leave it there for this afternoon, but thank you for that really comprehensive look at how infrastructure development on the African continent can be bolstered up, the role of policy and how the African Continental Free Trade Area and various finance infrastructures can help and assist in this gap and this need that the continent still experiences. We thank you so much for your insight and your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Thami.
Thank you. That's Tshepo Ncube. She's head of international client coverage at Absa CIB and also a member of the B20 Finance and Infrastructure Task Force. She brings us to exactly 2 minutes to 5 p.m. Central African time. And just as we wrap up Africa in Business today, we also say